Hey yo, what is going on guys? Cash and Clean here. So for today's video, I want to go over specific classes to play, and before I get into all the classes stuff, I do want to mention that this is not my gameplay, this is Moopy's gameplay, so shoutouts for providing the gameplay for me. But the main thing I wanted to talk about is classes that you guys can now play, because if you guys didn't know, the servers have been migrated, so certain classes are a little bit more viable now. So classes like Gunslinger, for example, whereas before, maybe you would shoot a couple shots, the shots just wouldn't register. Now, that might be the case still sometimes. With the new server change, it's a little bit better. And because of that being better, there are certain other classes that are also better, meaning that you're just able to register more hits. So this makes it more viable to just play more so anyone that you want to. But I'm going to go over the classes that I prefer, the ones that I like, the meta ones, and then I'll go over some of the classes that you guys might like, which I guess that could be anything. But as you can see from the gameplay, Shadow Hunter just shooting through walls, just a very good class, amazing class overall. You can speed farm with him and you can just do bosses with him. He's just really good all around. And then there's also the Boomeranger, you know, the two meta classes pretty much, and you can just do some big damage with Boomeranger. You can even farm with Boomeranger if you really wanted to. Not as fast as Shadow Hunter, but it's still doable. And if you're to do like ship farms or something like that, where you just want to gather groups of enemies in the crystals, Boomeranger can also do that because of his ring abilities, and it's just really good overall. But yeah, those are like the two main classes that I would stick with. And then as for like a magic set, I'll just go for Ice Age just because I like Ice Age. But now we have a couple things here. So servers are allegedly better. We're gonna see for ourselves what it's like in July with the events, because it could just go downhill or it could just go back to what it was before. We don't know. But if you do like certain classes, those classes are probably going to be a little bit better, and you may have already noticed that. There is a bit of controversy with Boomeranger's bow, if you guys know about the blast bow stuff. I'm not going to get into that too much because I haven't really done testing, and that just sounds like a lot of work, but there is other content creators that have talked about it, or if you're involved in the Trove Discord servers, maybe you've seen that going around. But regardless, if you guys have watched my previous videos, or some of my older videos, you might already know what I'm going to say, but in terms of like classes to pick, up until you can get to 30k power, like in general, pick a farming class, stick with that farming class, and continue to play that until you can solo D14. Because once you can solo D14, that's the area where you get crystal gems. You can start farming stuff for your other classes. Because let's be real here, you can open them power gem boxes, you can get a 2-star, maybe it's a cool ability, like whatever. Like sure, you can throw that on temporarily on another class, but wouldn't you rather just build a class right now, have that be as OP as possible, and then anything extra you get, the good extra stuff that you get, you can put those on your other classes. And that's the main thing here. So pick a farming class, and this could be anyone pretty much. I would prefer a speed farmer, so I would prefer Shadow Hunter. If you don't like Shadow Hunter, you can pick other classes like Ninja, Dino Tamer, you can go Vanguard, you can go Bard, you can even go Fate Trickster. Doesn't really matter who you pick. Anyone that you enjoy. Like even Candy Bar, for example, if you use his ring ability Spin to Win, you can actually farm with the class. There's also Knight, you can also farm with him if you just don't use his class gem, and then other classes like Revenant, for example. And then from there, once you have your farming class figured out, once you're able to solo D14 and you're able to get extra sets of things, like if you get extra sets of gear, that's fine, you can throw that on other classes. Like I'm talking about Crystal 4 because that's pretty accessible once you finish the gear crafting profession, and you'll notice that you'll end up getting a pretty good amount of them as long as you're farming the boxes. If you're unsure how to get all that stuff, I have a bunch of videos talking about them, how to get Crystal 4 and stuff like that. But yeah, after your farming class, go ahead and pick a damage class. This damage class, I would prefer Boomeranger. You can pick other classes like Solarion, Ice Age, Gunslinger, Chloromancer. It really doesn't matter. Even Draco. It's really up to you, whoever you find fun at this point. If you're going with the meta or my opinion, Shadow Hunter and Boomeranger with the Ice Age for like a magic set is all you need. And then from there you can just pick any other class. And if you're going with your personal preference, I recommend checking out my all class build video, like how to build every class, because I also go over how to play the class, just like a little bit of farming here and there, so you can kind of get an idea of how the class is played. And if you're unsure about something with your class, or whatever the case ends up being, you can ask either in global chat, you can ask in club chats, Trove Discord servers, or even live streams. There's a lot of Trove live streamers nowadays. So if you go on Twitch, you can see if there's somebody live streaming Trove. Maybe you'll find an end gamer that's streaming, or even a mid game player. If it's an early game player, they might not know the exact details of your question, but you know, it doesn't really hurt to try. And who knows, maybe you might make some friends while you're playing with those people. Trove is a small enough community, you can kind of get to know each other pretty well, and you're most likely going to run into each other pretty often depending on what you're farming for. But yeah, that was like the main purpose of this video, because I wanted to bring up that the servers have been moved, they're migrated. I don't know how they're going to hold up when the event rolls around, I guess we'll have to see. But but I just want to let you guys know that like certain shots when you're shooting with the characters, they actually register a little bit better. I personally think that they should just spend the next, like, I don't know, half a year just rewriting the code for Trove or something, just making it a little bit better so they can actually make Trove better from there. Whereas now they just keep on adding more and more things. Every time they fix something, something else breaks. Maybe it's just an overall complicated situation. Maybe they can just migrate stuff to Trove 2 where it's compatible everywhere, and maybe just make that cross-platform. Trove should just be a cross-platform game, but there's just too many factors to go into. The main one being the marketplace, that's going to be kind of scuffed. Or maybe not, I really don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below with these servers, any classes that you would recommend to others. It really doesn't matter who you play at this point, but just know the main thing is this: certain classes are better than other classes at certain things. For that one, we can all agree on. But if you don't like the current meta with Hunter, Boomeranger, Solarion, like those specific classes, just don't feel like you have to play those classes. I just prefer it. I like playing the meta. I have fun playing heroes that do good. I say heroes, that was just Overwatch thing, but just the classes, stuff like that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or if you find yourself coming back. And like always, thank you all so much for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing, and I'll talk to you guys later.